Good. Welcome to Bitcoin Africa Stories podcast, where we explore the personal journeys behind Bitcoin adoption across the continent. I'm your host, Destiny Smart, and today we are joined by. I don't know if I should say your full name or should I give your anonymous name? Which one is okay for you, man?
You can put down my anonymous.
Because we have Satoshi Nakamoto himself here. I should go for your full name.
Yeah, you can go for my name in the space. That's cool.
Okay. So we have the one and only the Orange Man here with us, who will be sharing his inspiring story of Bitcoin impact in his own life and also how he sees it in his community. So if you don't mind, Mr. the Orange Man, kindly share with us little background of how you came into Bitcoin and your profile, your bio, anything that would make us to understand where you're coming from better.
I'm the Orange Man. I'm actually from Africa, Nigeria, Africa, and I'm a Bitcoiner, a Bitcoin enthusiast. I'm also a tech enthusiast and very big on AI. Although I focus more on the codeless part of tech, which is creation and all of that. So basically I got into Bitcoin ecosystem, let's just call it roughly 3 years ago, where I got onboarded and I started as a campus ambassador. That was when I was in university, obviously. And it was beautiful. I was the campus ambassador for IPBTC at the time, the Students Network. Then I moved from there to a community manager. And right now I'm with African Bitcoiners. I believe we know African Bitcoiners. So yeah, I'm also a grad, an intern with African Bitcoiners. So yeah, this is like some rough background. So I don't know if there's any other introduction you want me to make here.
Okay, before we began, we discussed about Bitcoin Unical and your involvement in founding that initiative. So if you don't mind, please kindly share with us, the intersection of Bitcoin Unical and your Bitcoin career.
Okay, yeah, for Bitcoin Unical, I think when I was in school, when I was still a student in university, I founded an initiative, Bitcoin Unical, which is a Bitcoin and tech community. Tech being that we are very big on teaching or empowering young people with the right tech skills to navigate this 21st century, which is very, very pro-tech and pro-AI. So the idea behind Bitcoin Unical is youth empowerment, students empowerment within the University of Calabar. Then we talk about Bitcoin empowerment because Bitcoin, as we know, is the future of money, is the one true money. So if your money is yours, if your money is secure, definitely your life is on a whole different path. So the idea behind Bitcoin Unical is let us empower people to have skills. Let's teach them about Bitcoin. Then when they have skills, they sort of earn like value, and it's easier to say, okay, I can save a percentage of my earnings in Bitcoin because you need to earn so that you can buy the Bitcoin, you can stack the sats. So the idea behind Bitcoin Unical is just revolving around that, Bitcoin education, empowering with tech skills, making sure that people become better versions of themselves as they keep growing, and of course, Bitcoin adoption. So yeah, that's it for Bitcoin Unical.
As we said earlier, one of these things about Bitcoin is that when you teach someone about Bitcoin, you tend to just teach them. But when you show them how they can earn SAT, and how they can use the SAT in that community, that is where you really empower them. So I believe Bitcoin Unical is, you guys are systematically or programmatically looking into that space, and it's a very, very amazing initiative to look into. Okay, so if I may ask, is Bitcoin Unical a Bitcoin circular economy or is it a Bitcoin community?
Yeah, it's actually a Bitcoin community. Yeah, a community of young people. Yeah, I founded the community. I co-founded the community with one of my friends. His ex-handle is Hexane Hold. Actually, back then we were just students in school, and it has been going great. It has gone to the extent that I don't even run the community anymore. We have like a community lead. We have like community leaders that run the community. All of them are students, so it's a students community. The Bitcoin education obviously is being taught there, and circular economies is mentioned. Circular economies are mentioned. We try to also do some circular economies kind of initiative, but the center is community. That's what we are building, a Bitcoin community.
Very amazing. One thing you cannot do is to underestimate the power of communities, because communities are what show the real world usage of whatever you are preaching. For example, if you have a community of Bitcoin, of Bitcoiners, it's more powerful than having only you in your parlor talking about Bitcoin. So that's actually a great initiative. That's actually a great initiative. If you don't mind, can you share with us, one of your proof of works from Bitcoin Unical, or any stories that inspires or that makes you feel like, oh, this is why I built Bitcoin Unical, if you don't mind?
Okay. First, let me just quickly track back a bit. Bitcoin Unical was actually founded in 2024, around November 30th. November 30th, 2024. And it was founded because we looked at it and, we said, let's have a Bitcoin community where we have different, Bitcoin organizations. This is like the go-to for anything Bitcoin within University of Calabar, within our campus. So we used to have IPBTC community. We still do, actually, IPBTC community on campus then. And I was the pioneer campus ambassador then. I think if you check my ex posts, you see some of those wonderful posts. Yeah, it was a beautiful time, very beautiful time with IP. So then we had this Bitcoin on campus store. That was, I think, November 28th, 2024, and it was beautiful. It was very, very nice. However, there were some limitations that we had from IP because we were not able to sort of do our own thing, in the sense that it's IPBTC community. So at the end of the day, you need to get approvals. You need to always work according to a specific calendar meted out by IPBTC. You get, which is a good thing, because the good thing, we had beautiful things going. However, the vision became very big, and we needed to, branch out and explore for the benefit of the students on ground. You get, yeah. So that's why we now say, okay, let's form this, and IPBTC will still be in Bitcoin Unical community. Bitnob can, also be in Bitcoin Unical, bought me cash, whatever. Even African Bitcoiners, they are actually supporters of Bitcoin Unical because we use their curriculum. Bitcoin Africa story can even come in. We are proud. Now there's this new initiative that we are looking at, a very beautiful initiative that I don't think anybody thought about, that Bit Designers, and they are doing so well, and we're like, yeah, we love design. We love like designing in the community. We have designers, so I'm sure they will love to like have Bit Designers in University of Calabar, so that we can have like designers who, like graphic designers, motion graphics, whatever, who are interested in joining. So one proof of work, or one of the things that have happened, okay, I'll give like a couple. One, we had a Bitnob. It was the one-day developer bootcamp by Bitnob. Bitnob came to Calabar, and they hosted that with Bitcoin Unical. It was for the students, and we were able to gather students from University of Calabar. We were also able to even branch out to some other nearby schools in the campus, and it was beautiful. And the most beautiful part of this story is the fact that I was not the one who they reached out to. That was what gave me so much joy, and that was what we wanted to achieve from the onset. So that was the most beautiful part, that I was not the one that Bitnob reached out to. They reached out to the community lead. I think his ex-handle is Anambra Boy. And he was able to pull that initiative by himself. Like, I was just invited to come around and just see. And I intentionally said, no, let me not even involve myself. So, he pulled that off with his team. And it made me think, like, this is exactly what we are talking about. Not one person running the whole thing and, all the time. That's beautiful. But the fact that this community we are building, other people are getting inspired. Other people, we are starting out, real talents. And I was even surprised that he was able to pull that event off by himself with the team. So that gave me so much joy. Another one was we had a Bitcoin education masterclass. Then they were still the ones that organized that. The first cohort of that masterclass by themselves, no sponsorships. The only thing we got was we used the curriculum of my primary Bitcoin, African Bitcoiners. We just basically combined like different curriculums. I think even Trezor Academy, we just combined some curriculums and just made some slides and just used them, and the joy of things, I was just an educator in the bootcamp. They were the organizers. So they were able to pull off a one-day developer event where they gathered developers, like developers to come and like learn Bitcoin development. They were able to pull off a Bitcoin education initiative. They are still working on, right now, they're working on pulling off a tech training where they'll be training on different tech skills by themselves. And many of these guys actually started by just, maybe meeting me, and they were just asking. Anambra Boy met me in Bitcoin on campus, IPBTC. He was the next ambassador after me. Then he grew, he continued learning, I can mention a few names, but let me just leave it as him alone for privacy reasons. But then again, that sort of made me think about it, like, this is why we did this. He's not the only one. There are many people in the community who have, by virtue of being a member of Bitcoin Unical, they now have a better understanding of Bitcoin. They now have a better understanding of why Bitcoin is, why Bitcoin was created. They have a better understanding of what they need to do to start and to come on board. And they're all students. They're all very young people, like, surprisingly. But these guys have phenomenal ideas. We have a research team in Bitcoin Unical. We have like a community team where they have like social media managers. We have a designers too. They have research AI team. So these guys are researching. They are coming up with crazy ideas, and I'm so excited because this is the point. People are learning how to do stuff with tech so that they can learn and grow their savings, save a percentage of their earnings in Bitcoin. And if that is not real world adoption, I don't know. I don't know what is. So yeah, so these are some yeah, thank you.
That's very massive. Bitcoin Unical, based on what we are seeing out there on Twitter. So if you don't know where they are, check them on Twitter. The username is Bitcoin Unical. You can easily search them there and see all this proof of work for yourself. So yeah, any more story you would like to share, or should we move down to the next question?
Okay, it seems okay because this is Bitcoin Africa story, so we are very, very big on stories here. Anyways, okay, I'll just anonymously share a story about a girl I actually met on campus, and she told me at the time that she wants to get into the Bitcoin ecosystem. And I told her that, look, if you are looking for somewhere where you'd maybe come into and by next week you have made maybe $500,000 or maybe $5,000, that's not what I do. I'm not we don't turn paper into money or whatever. That's because I know when people hear Bitcoin, they have this impression that, a chunk of money is just being printed out from somewhere in your house or something, or maybe you have a real Bitcoin like just kept somewhere. Yeah. So I explained it to her that this is the idea, this is what we're doing. And she was like, yeah, she's down. So I think I referred her to the 21-day Africa Bitcoin course, and I sort of tried to follow up and say, oh, how far? Have you done it? Have you? And speaking to you today, she's very, very up and coming in the space. She's doing well. She's running a Bitcoin community too. Like, she's doing well. Speaking to you today, she took that decision and she started. When she learned, we had 1 or 2 conversations. She has been doing well, still from that whole community. So it's beautiful to see different people there. And I think the idea behind many initiatives, especially in Africa, is for growth and continuity. What do I mean? Continuity can be in 2 ways. One, it could be within the sector that you found yourself in. 2, it could be within that sector, but not necessarily the same project. For example, I was the pioneer ambassador for IPBTC, University of Calabar community. We brought IPBTC to University of Calabar. Yeah. Then thanks to James Otudo, the likes of Chris Manuchim, they were very wonderful people. Mr. Prince Bona, who is the CEO, very wonderful people. I could name more names, very wonderful people, did very well in grooming many of us. So basically, but right now, we have continued, from where we stopped at IPBTC, but not as IPBTC now. We're able to found the project. And many people from Bitcoin Unical are now like waking up to see that, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can, be active in this space. Not necessarily from Bitcoin Unical, but still in the Bitcoin ecosystem. And it's very beautiful. I love to see that. So I think that's another success story. we can move on now. Yeah.
Very awesome. Very awesome. One thing about organic growth is that it creates a kind of ripple effect. So you do small work here, but later on, when you're consistent with good and honest proof of work, it's spread out like it has been planned for like 50 years ago. No. So I clearly see that ripple effect now, and I'm sure everyone sees that ripple effect. So thank you so much for sharing these amazing stories. And if you don't mind, I want to ask you this amazing question, and it goes like this. So what do you do professionally or personally? Let us know your background. Do you still work with IPBTC as the ambassador, which you said no? So let us know what you do professionally or maybe on a daily basis. So Bitcoin and non-Bitcoin related. I am not the fade. I am not a fade. We just want to know you, bro.
I said I'm actually a graduate of mechanical engineering. I actually studied mechanical engineering in school. Yeah, and I think a bulk of my life would be thanks to, God, obviously, and thanks to the course I also studied this because I think it sort of opened my eyes to see a whole lot of things. So yeah, professionally, so to speak, a tech enthusiast. I love learning about tech. I'm also very enthusiastic about AI. So professionally, I would say tech enthusiast, community manager, digital creator, and very, very surprisingly, I am into I'm into music too. I play 1 or 2 musical instruments. Yeah, it's actually, I think it's one of the things that keeps me very, very calm and stuff. So yeah, that's just all I'll just share about myself. But I would say this to give our listeners some context. I am a growth strategist, and I love building people. I love to inspire people. Like, nothing gives me more joy than seeing people grow, than seeing people build. And for some reason, I have an interest in young people. I just love to see these guys like grow and become like better versions of themselves and all of that. So I really love all that. I love to bring things to life. I love to, not necessarily projects like, okay, I could, But people, in terms of people, I love to build people. It's something I just know that anywhere, any day, something I can do. So yeah.
And that is one of the best gifts of life, man. Thank you so much for giving a lot of people. Okay, like I would like to dive into another one. So
Okay.
in terms of go around the space, can you give us context to projects you are contributing to, and also projects you are collaborating with in the Bitcoin space, and give us more context of what they are doing and where can we find them, so we can all know this project and we can all go check what they are doing.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So basically, right now, I'm with African Bitcoiners. I'm a grad, but yeah, I'm in the community team in African Bitcoiners. And it has been a very wonderful experience for me. It has been very eye-opening, and it has been a very, how do I put this? I have grown, by virtue of being with African Bitcoiners. Like, it has been wonderful. That's all I can say regarding that. So then I'm working with African Bitcoiners, contributing, doing whatever it is. And also Africa Bitcoin news. But let me start from African Bitcoiners. So basically, African Bitcoiners is an organization, it's a Bitcoin organization that believes that we can bring freedom to Africa through Bitcoin. So African Bitcoiners focuses on Bitcoin education. You can check out the website www.bitcoiners.africa www.bitcoiners.africa. There you are going to find it's just the go-to for anything Bitcoin in Africa. You're going to find like Bitcoin education courses. You are going to find mining reports and the very well-known ecosystem infographics, which we just launched yesterday. I think we have about 177 active Bitcoin projects in Africa, across Africa, actually. So we have that for Q2 of 2026, and of course you know that we do the most impactful African Bitcoiners awards, where about 21 Bitcoiners are recognized for their very, very amazing and meticulous work across the continents. And I think last year we had the number one being Mr. Abubakar Kangil. And of course, everybody in the in the ecosystem were very happy because Abubakar has been doing so many wonderful things. I mean, the CEO of Bichos, and it has been beautiful. I wonder how a young man does, so much. But then again, that's some of the initiatives. So we can sort of throw spotlights on different projects too across Africa. So we get to just make sure that we connect the whole ecosystem and make sure that we inspire, different projects by virtue of this spotlight. Then Africa Bitcoiners has projects inside it. We have Africa Free Routing, we have SAT to Data, we have Africa Bitcoin News, So we have a few projects like that. And we have the French community for Africa Bitcoiners. So it's not just English. We also have the French community for our Francophone speaking African countries. And it has been beautiful because I think they have had a few X spaces, and I don't understand French, but the energy I get from these guys is wonderful because Bitcoin in French, and they're doing so many wonderful things, so many wonderful things. I'll still give a shout out because I have to give a shout out to the founder of African Bitcoin, Africa. Shout out to my very good boss, Sarah White, Megasly, Satoshi, Leafs, and our brand new African Bitcoiner, Black Man. So basically, my team members are very wonderful people, and I'm just grateful to have come across them in my lifetime because these guys are Like when I joined African Bitcoiners, I sort of was thinking, how do people do so many things at the same time without making mistakes? Because wow, it's wonderful, very wonderful. But unfortunately, that's the only thing I can share regarding that. I'm sure you understand why. So yeah, African Bitcoiners has Africa free routing, and Africa free routing sort of it's tailored towards Bitcoin Lightning. You know, they host Bitcoin Lightning Developer Bootcamps. And all of these things I'm saying is for free. It's not like you pay to, they are Bitcoin Lightning Developer Bootcamps. They give out scholarships for them. So you basically attend these things for free and you get to learn. And by God's special grace, Africa Free Routing has been able to produce not just many bootcamp graduates, but graduates who have created products, and in today's world they are very relevant. For example, we have Fidel, founder of Bitica. He attended the bootcamp. We have this guy that just won a grant from Bitros, Shehu, the Nigerian. I believe he's a Nigerian. Let me not assume, but I believe so. So Shehu won is one of the Bitros grantees for Q1 of 2026, and he will still tell you that he attended the Kaduna Lightning Developer Bootcamp. So Africa Free Routing is a product inside Africa Coiners, but they're sort of, so they're big, so they're like doing their own thing. And Megasin is handling that, and he has been, Megasin, so doing absolutely very well. Yeah. So Africa Free Routing also helps merchants to learn how to create Bitcoin as a payment medium in their business. So this is not just about scanning to accept Bitcoin. This is learning how to do it now on a business level. And Africa Free Routing just finished a 3-day masterclass where they brought in Blink, MavaPay, and BTC Pay Server to teach people how to do this, teach business owners how to do. So you can imagine. And we have Africa Bitcoin News, which is the go-to for anything Bitcoin news in Africa. It's like Africa's Bitcoin only news platform. You can go and verify bitcoinnews.africa. That's the website. So Africa Bitcoin News basically centers on the African Bitcoin narrative, and it's like the primary source of truth for Bitcoin in Africa. So Africa Bitcoin News centers on the African narrative. So we don't want to have people from outside coming to sort of tell us what's happening in our continent, because we are the ones here. So we know the behind the scenes. We know how everything works here. So that Bitcoin News was created. One of the reasons why it was created was because we usually put out newsletters in African Bitcoiners. I don't know if you're a subscriber, but if you are, I'm sure you should be getting that every Tuesday, every week. So we usually put out Bitcoin newsletters, and one of the sections in our Bitcoin newsletters is Africa Bitcoin News. And usually, sometimes it's quite a hassle to get some news, Bitcoin only. Of course, you see Bitcoin and whatnot, but it's quite a hassle to get Bitcoin only news tailored towards Africa. So this platform was created, okay, so we can have like raw Bitcoin signals for Africa. So yeah, you can go check out Africa Bitcoin News at Afri Bitcoin News on X, and you can check out African Bitcoiners at Afri Bitcoiners. So I believe these like me just throwing some context to what African Bitcoiners, what we do there, and where you can find this remarkable proof of work. Yeah.
And also, it's a non-shitcoin zone, so you guys don't
There's no shitcoin. There's no shitcoin. Pure Bitcoin signals.
As long as the orange man is involved, I trust. Okay. So, lastly, before we draw the curtain, I've been asking you some questions, but do you have anything you want to put out there? Any concept or any narrative or anything you want to put out there? Just this is the time for you to do that. And after then, we just move to the very last question and we just call it a day.
Okay. Okay. So when you say, do I have anything I want to put out there? Do you mean like a piece of advice or just an opinion? What exactly do you mean?
Okay, let us put it like this way. If you don't really have an opinion, you can go for an advice. But if you have an opinion or a concept or anything that feels like it should be known out there, I feel you can put it out there. But if there are none, just go on with the advice. So.
Okay, I feel like I think I'll just give an opinion and maybe possibly an advice. So thank you very much first for this wonderful opportunity. Like, this has been wonderful. I mean, for you to think about this type of thing, it's a very good one, where you bring in everybody, to just sort of share their own insights. So I really, really appreciate Bitcoin Africa Story and the amazing team behind Bitcoin Africa Story, because this is necessary in Africa. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Then for my opinion, I think you might say I am young in this space. Some might say I'm very young in this space. And yeah, I'm pretty young in this space, but or however, I believe one opinion I'll have is, I think we need to support ourselves as Africans in Africa. I'm not even talking about anything financial, but we need to understand that we are not basically competing against each other, but it should be more of collaborations. That's one. Like, we're not competing. This one is just my opinion, because I noticed some certain things. I know it's like crazy out there, but there's no competition out there. We're all gonna just collaborate, because at the end of the day, you're an African, I am an African. Irrespective of culture, tribe, country, whatever, we're all Africans. And there is a great divide. I'll repeat, there's a big divide in the Bitcoin ecosystem globally between the Bitcoin ecosystem from the West and the global South. The gap, there's a gap there. There's a big gap. It's almost as if these guys are up there doing their thing and we are just here trying to catch up or do our thing. However, if we can come together, if we can understand that we need to work together as Africans, then that gap will be closed faster than we think. It's very, very, way faster than we think, So there should be no unnecessary, there's no need for any competition. Like, it's more of collaboration. Okay, what can we do to make this happen? What can we do to make this happen? There should be support from African initiatives to other African initiatives. It may be as, let me not say as small, because nothing is small, but it may be as something that is so, not a big deal. Something as little as making a retweet of somebody's post on your X. You see that you have a bigger account, and you definitely have more eyes. You have more reach, a wider reach. And you see some young guys, maybe I'll use Bitcoin Unical as an example. I don't want to mention anybody's, the reason is I don't want to mention anybody's projects. I don't want to call names. I just want to use my stuff, So you see Bitcoin Unical as an example, Bitcoin Africa Story could decide, okay, let me just repost this guy's thing. So that's how it could work. I think there's some Bitcoiners that do that, but I think if more people start, trying to, okay, what's up? Let us try to go together. I think we'll just be fine. I think we'll just be fine. Then I think for the advice I have to Bitcoiners out there, especially the young ones that may or may not be like me, I believe we should just keep pushing. Just keep pushing. The sky is very big, very big. The sky is very big, and the possibilities are limitless, very limitless. Who would have ever thought that AI would take over the world the way it has taken over the world today? Nobody. But at the end of the day, look at what AI is doing. Now there are ways we can even work with AI in the Bitcoin ecosystem. So my advice would be, one, keep learning. Never stop learning. The day you stop learning is the day you die. That's just the truth. So never stop learning. Keep learning. There's no knowledge that is wasted. Even if you are a developer, There's nothing wrong with you as a developer knowing about social media management. Like, there's nothing wrong, because you never know skill will show up for you. So never stop learning. Too, be consistent. It's going to get boring. That's what you just need to know. Forget I know when we do like meetups and conferences and all of that. So it's always fun, and you take pictures, you meet people, you travel, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But there are times where it's going to get boring. You just have it's now you versus you. So you just have to keep your head down. Be very, very consistent with what you do. Let people know that you are here to provide solutions. You are not here for just, I just want to be called a Bitcoiner or those kind of things. You're here to provide solutions. And I think finally, I'm just gonna say, have a mindset to build others. Have a mindset to build others. Don't have a mindset to crumble. Don't try to crumble what another person has built, because maybe you have a grievance against that person. So you now want to then drag the person on X, or you want to, those type of things that can actually hurt a brand. So have a mindset to build, irrespective of, don't have a mindset to just try to be a builder of people, of product. Let it be that anytime that your name is mentioned in the room, what you'll be remembered for is he tried to build, he tried to grow, or she tried to build, she tried to grow. Let your name be always remembered for the good stuff. I know, we are human beings and everybody makes mistakes, but let it be that your mistakes are not all that people remember about you. And this is a bonus tip: never trust, always verify. So that will be all from me. Thank you.
Awesome. Seems like you are a philosopher. but anyway, what can we say? Bitcoin changes you. Well, and I really agree on that concept of collaboration over competition. So we should not look for ways to compete against one another. If someone is doing what you want to do, just create another lucrative or creative pattern so you can just follow suit instead of competing. Because at the end of the day, it's still adoption. Once you compete, adoption is still winning. But maybe that's not really your part. So collaboration over competition, that is what I would add. And in terms of the advice, this I really enjoy. I really, really appreciate the advice. It felt like you were speaking to me. So, yeah. Anyways, I would say thank you, man, for your time, for your word of wisdom, and also for sharing your story. I really appreciate you for coming today, brother.
Thank you very much for having me.
And if I may add, this is the first time I am having a call with Orange Man. I'm not calling video call. So this is the first time I'm seeing his face. And it's my call, and it's
thank you so much.
Some podcast. So
thank you so much.
I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bitcoin Africa story. That's been beautiful. That's been fun. All right.
Lessons. And for all those that will be watching, make sure you check out Africa Bitcoiners as well as BitcoinNews.Africa, and Bitcoiners.Africa and Bitcoin Unical. These are 3 amazing initiatives to look at. And also check out Mr. Jerry on Twitter. His handle is at J_J_creator. And he goes by the name The Orange Man on Twitter. So give him a follow, reach out for collaboration, and let those do things together. So thank you once again for watching. Thank you once again for listening.
Okay.
I remain your own Bolos Tesla Smart, and see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jerry. God bless you.